Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great day to be alive. It is Monday. Welcome to the Monday Prep. We got some baseball action, a relatively short slate, but still some very quality action in baseball. Yesterday was a great day at Rocket Launch Sports Picks, unlike Saturday, going 3 for 3 on the free picks. Shohei Ohtani getting 2 hits in the game, getting our prop going over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. Zebby Matthews got 7 strikeouts in 4 1/3 innings, and that's really been the story of the last couple years for Zebby, being able to simply get many strikeouts despite not too many innings, and even when giving up a lot of runs. Nick Kurtz got 2 hits. He also drove in a run in one of his hits. That got us that prop. We had Shohei Ohtani in a big 9-1 win against the Dodgers. He simply got 2 hits. He was a big part of the lineup. Great performance from him today. Dodgers have a 5.5 game lead over the Padres. Diamondbacks lost all 3 of their games in the series this weekend. But even the Padres, they are struggling in their last 10 as well. 3-7 in their last 10. That has huge implications for the NL West. And of course, the Giants and Rockies, not too good. Zebby Matthews, again, shorter outing. Didn't get as deep in the game as his team would have liked him to. Still struck out a lot of guys. Big strikeout pitcher, but still working on his command. Still working on making sure he avoids too many mistakes. The Pirates got a big win for themselves, but we look at the Twins. They are falling off at 4-6 in their last 10. Compared to the White Sox, who are 7-3, they are gaining ground. So the White Sox and the Guardians are fighting for that American League Central. The White Sox are gaining ground. They're only 1 back of the Guardians. Wow, could you imagine June 1st, after what we have seen for the last couple years from the Chicago White Sox, absolutely comically horrible performances, to put it straight to you. Now the Chicago White Sox are having themselves a year. Nick Kurtz, in a losing effort for the Athletics, was able to drive in a run. Now this was a high-scoring game in Sacramento. The New York Yankees won that game 13-8. We look at the American League West. Seattle had themselves a great week. The Athletics are still in second despite a 3-7 stretch. You can see the Rangers are not doing much better. Houston has gone 7-3 in their last 10. Good for us out here. If you don't know, I live in Houston. That is one of my teams. I did grow up an Arizona Diamondbacks fan. I've lived in 6 states, so I do have quite a bit of affiliations and quite a bit of connections. But regardless, the Astros are gaining some ground in that standings, as is Seattle pulling away after this weekend. We had Ranger Suarez over 1.5 earned runs. Now, I did process that wrong over Betr. They did process that as under 1.5 hits, which would have been very bold. Now, I did have that as 1.5 earned runs all the way. You can see some of my justifications. The fact that he has a higher ERA in the day games, that the Guardians hit very well, and especially off left-handed pitching. They did score 4 runs off Ranger Suarez, but they couldn't get much more off that Red Sox bullpen. The Red Sox were able to put up a big inning in the 6th and win that game. So that allowed the Chicago White Sox to catch up in the American League Central and get a game on the Guardians. Then we got Jazz Chisholm. This is an abandoned pick because he did not play. So that happens if you place a prop on a player and a player does not play, then the money's refunded. It is considered a no pick. We just take it back as if it never happened. That would also be the case, I believe, in baseball. If a player leaves the game before the 5th inning, if someone gets hurt or if anything happens, then it also goes as an abandoned pick and the money is refunded. So that's what we have with Jazz Chisholm Jr. So that is a 4 for 4 day overall between the free and the paid picks. We are affiliated with Betr. That is our site right now. We are also working on Pickett. But for now, if you have not signed up for Betr, you can do that with the code ROCKETUPSB. You will get $200 in those free tokens. Let's get to today's picks. Today's picks, you can multiply your money by 2.8 by simply having a Randy Arozarena over a half a hit or just hitting in the game, and then Kyle Freeland not getting it out in the 6th inning or even getting into the 6th inning. Those are the 2 picks for today here at Rocket Launch Sports Picks. We also got the bonus just like yesterday, and we do have 2 paid picks on Winible. But let's get to it. Kyle Freeland not getting in the 6th inning or not getting it out in the 6th. That has happened in 9 of his 10 starts this season. If you go back to last season, he had a little bit of a better end to last season, but still did not get far into it. Now you can also see that in his matchup against the Angels, that is who he is playing. Now the Angels are a relatively favorable matchup for Kyle Freeland. Not a great offense overall, not a great team overall, and they are playing in Anaheim. However, I will show you on this next page right over here that his ERA is, he has an 8.08 ERA in 10 starts. Now, one thing I did put on Winible, and yes, you can access our Winible picks for free, is that he has an 8.10 ERA on the road in 5 starts. I did not post the splits on here, but that is a thing. He is not pitching well on the road either, which is relatively uncharacteristic of a Rockies pitcher. But it is coming to show you that his struggles have just been consistent across the board all season long. Kyle Freeland is someone that it obviously hasn't done too well for the Rockies. He's also, again, 9 out of 10 starts this season. This whole season, he's just not getting deep into games. Kyle Freeland's just having a tough time out there. We expect the same to happen against the Angels. Expect that the Angels are going to come alive at home and get at least enough off him to chase him from the game at the 5th inning or sooner. Let's go to the next one. Randy Arozarena playing on a Mariners team that swept the series at home, and they are now going to play in New York against the New York Mets, specifically Queens. Remember, we got 2 teams out there. And also, we got an NBA Finals out there, keep in mind, on Wednesday. Randy Arozarena has gotten a hit in 7 of his last 10 games. That's also 14 out of 20 games. He has, in his series against the Mets last year, while he was with Seattle, he did hit in 2 of those 3 games. Now, you can say the Mets were a better team last year. They still disappointed in a lot of senses with 83 wins. But you can see, if you can say the Chicago White Sox have been incredibly great this year compared to expectations, you can say that the $300+ million Mets have been horrible compared to expectations, and they are absolutely, for lack of a better way to put it, and I'm sorry if there's any kids watching this, they are shitting the bed. Let's just leave it at that. And Randy Arozarena is expected to hit against them. He's done that in 68% of the games this season. You can see that's 41 out of 60. So just over 2 out of 3 games, he's getting a hit in. 292 average on the season, 300 average against right-handed pitching. He has a high hard hit rate. You can see 36.4% is even higher against right-handed pitching. That's a pretty high one. Now, I don't know what the league average is for that one, but I do know that is pretty high for a hard hit rate. If you look at the hard hit rate stats, you'll see not every player is even in the 30s. But his batting average is right there, 292 to start the season. He is doing an absolutely excellent job getting solid contact, going through the baseball. He's having one of his best years if he can keep this up. And for our bonus pick for today, well, obviously we talked about how the first 2 picks are on Betr. If we get both of them right, $10 turns into $28. Colson Montgomery is expected to get a strikeout in this game. He has struck out in 8 of his last 10 games and 17 out of 20. And he plays Minnesota today. In Minnesota, he has struck out in his last 7 games and 8 of his last 10. You can see a lot of green on the right-hand side of that chart. Going to the next one. Colson Montgomery does have a 29.2 strikeout rate on the season. That is relatively high, considering that American League average is 22.2%, National League average 21.8%. That's at least the way that StatMuse presented it to me. So I don't know what the combined Major League average is, but that just gives you a better idea that it's about 22%. So you can just simply say that Colson Montgomery's strikeout percentage is 7% above the league average. Joe Ryan is a strikeout pitcher. He's striking out more than one batter an inning. He's actually having a very good season so far. 2.94 ERA despite the 3-3 record. He's pitching 64.1 innings, which in 10 starts, he's pitching well over 6 innings a start. He's getting into the 7th. That's a really good mark for Joe Ryan. He has been a very solid pitcher throughout the season for the Minnesota Twins. That is it for the free picks. That is it for the bonus picks. We got 2 more paid picks on Winible. We do have a weekly and monthly payment subscription to our paid picks. The paid picks will be only expanding as we go, and we'll also break them down right here tomorrow. That is a wrap on today. For now, go ahead, launch with purpose. We will be back tomorrow with some baseball before we also go into the NBA Finals on Wednesday. Have yourselves a great day. Let's enjoy the action.